Okay, so good morning. This is another one of my thoughts. It's Sunday morning, and I had an amazing rest. It's a couple of days before my 50th birthday, and I had the best sleep last night, just in a real place of peace. And so I'm just sharing as I go this compilation of things, several days, and then we'll publish it. But my prayer is for those that are suffering in place. I begin to think about the psychological impact that is occurring amongst people and those that are held captive in their environments when they need to escape, those that are living in situations that are not ideal, the people that are in the house with people they actually don't like, the people that are stuck in isolation with people that are abusers, or they're with children that are really unruly, or children that require certain medical or certain psychological assistance in order to help keep them stable. I'm thinking about our family members that don't really like their environments, and going to work and being able to leave the house is a way of relief. It's a place of solace for them. It's a happy pill. It's a moment of happiness. And so as I awaken this morning, my prayer is for those individuals. And I would recommend that we all take the time to remember people. Not everyone has the life or had the life that you may have. Not everyone was enjoying this dimension in the way that you may have been enjoying your dimension called life. And so I want to think about and pray for a reduction in negative fallout from these events that are being brought about, this destruction that is being orchestrated on many, many levels, and perhaps the taking advantage of people during a vulnerable time. And so my heart is going out to the people this morning that are in a place where they feel like they cannot breathe, where they're in a place where they feel like they're being overtaken, where they're in an environment where they don't know how to help themselves. I'm just asking us to remember them in our prayers, and for prayer for the stress level, the anxiety to be reduced. Just believing that they're going to be okay. And so as we're preparing and these various events are beginning to unfold, I ask you to study the Exodus, to study the crossover, the leaving, the census, what was happening, the Passover, all of these great events, but they're memorials. And it's kind of a pattern of human behavior. There's this pattern of human behavior that we have to be able to expose and see. There's always those that were the evil ones, and there were always those that were the innocent ones, or the ones that were being preyed upon and attacked and treated in a certain manner. And it's important for us to remember that the Bible was written by people who were having experiences. They are telling their story. And they're telling it in a way to reveal to us things that could happen because of the nature of a human. Listen, there are things that live within the human nature. There are things that live within the mind of people, and people perpetuate depending on their circumstances. There are so many things that can occur because of fear. There are so many things that can happen because people think they may not have enough. And the fight and flight, the whole I have to survive, our survival instincts, our animalistic reptilian brain begins to kick in, and we get into this buying up all the toilet tissue and buying up all the hand sanitizer because the only thought in our mind is, I must survive. Well, this is a time where we are to take more of an axe approach. And that is, we need to make sure everyone is okay, because that's how we all win. We win when we care for one another. We win when we're concerned about the welfare of those around us. And so as these economic disasters are unfolding, this has happened before. This has happened before, and there are patterns of these types of stories in history. There are types of stories in the Bible, which is also a history book. And so it pays us, it should make us investigate the pattern. Not so we can go, oh, God is punishing the people, but so that we understand our next step, our behavior, our attitude. If you can look at historical information and you can begin to forecast, you can begin to open up your mind to allow Holy Spirit to begin to reveal. You can receive downloads that will help you navigate during this season. So I want us to understand that in Exodus 14, there's an economic disaster. There is this whole liberation of slavery, and there's all of these things that are happening in the book of Exodus. And then you have this Passover opportunity. And I know at the very, very beginning of this, I told everybody, listen, spiritually apply the blood. Spiritually, what that means is that our immune systems and our systems have to be healthy enough, because in our body, we produce a fighter, a warrior called the white blood cell that protects us. And so part of this is a natural but yet spiritual thing that tells us that the blood cell has to be whole. The blood cells have to be whole. So when you're reading things, there's natural, then there's spiritual. There's natural, then there's spiritual. Don't be so spiritually minded that you're not earthly good. People always would say that. My grandmother would say that, or my great grandmother would say that. But there's truth in that we sometimes can be so high minded that we're not thinking practically and we're not thinking in a way. And so here's the reason why we keep saying, make sure you're washing your hands, right? Make sure that we are eating well. Make sure that we're not feeding our body a bunch of sugar and a bunch of junk, because the blood cell, the white one, has to be able to fight. We have to multiply the blood cells. We have a certain number of blood cells that we need in order for our immune systems to be strong. So here you see in the Passover time, they use a symbolism about applying the blood. At the same time, there are blood sacrifices that are going on in other regions during this historical time. There are many religions that were sacrificing human beings for the sake of their own wealth, for the greed. And so we got a number of things that are occurring here. We're saying, hey, we're going to build ourselves up on the Most High. We're going to feed ourselves. We're going to make sure we're nourished. We're going to eat the way that Daniel did. We're not going to eat the king's food. We're going to sustain our bodies in a certain way. And we're going to build our bodies up, and our minds and our hearts and our spirits, so that the death angel passes over us. Come on, hear that. Hear that in the spirit. Hear that in the spirit. Dissect that. Take a moment and dissect what is actually happening. Listen, there has been plagues before. There has been pandemics before. There has been things that have come in. We saw the locusts hit the countries earlier, right? This thing is not new, people of God. Humans, beings, use your thinkers. I remember I had an elementary school teacher that would say, use your thinker. Take this time to dissect. What must I do? What must I continue to do? And while I'm sitting here using my thinker, what vision do I have? What business can I work on? What book can I continue writing? What story might I tell? Now, everybody's going to try to make money off of telling the story of the coronavirus, right? You need to be more authentic than that. There's been a story that you've had to tell. You might as well write your story while you have time. There are things that you have been thinking about creating. You might as well create them now while you have time. There are ideas. Now, listen, I think with the collapse of the system of these economic disasters. That's so they can bring online other monetary systems, and that'll be more easily accepted, of course. And so there are things you need to find that trail. Where are they going with this? Ask the Holy Spirit, reveal where they are going with this. And when you have a revelation, share it with the family so that other people can prepare themselves. There are economic systems that are being rebuilt and reestablished. They're making all this demand on the pharmaceutical companies. We all know that the pharmaceutical companies were trying to stop Trump, right? This is not a pro-Trump message. I'm just telling you, there are places where there are breadcrumbs, right, that lead to other things. And this is not a conspiracy. There's never a coincidence. There's never a coincidence. People show you who they are first. It's up to us to believe them. People show us the different things. There are all kinds of signs, but people try to place all types of spins on them. And we get caught up in trying to be a part of a Democratic and Republican system of which we are the kingdom, and we are not. We are not a part of this technocracy. This is a technology war. There is a technocracy, right? That's a made up word. Y'all know me. I'll throw something out there, right? A technocracy, not a theocracy, not a democracy, right? This is a techno. So there are new developments and new things being brought online. There are new pieces of information that are being revealed, and it's up to us to catch it. It's up to us to pay attention. And so, you may not can find some of these words that I just made up, but think about what I'm trying to express to you. I'm trying to express it in a way that you get it in the best way that I know how to articulate to you. There is something else underneath the current. There is something else moving about. There is something else, and fear mongering is being used. I said this before. Many things are being used to captivate the mind of people and create anxiety, fear, and stress. We have to breathe. Peace be with you. Be with you. Peace. And let the peace of God, allow it to flow over your level of understanding and release you from certain anxieties and cause you to be able to speak a life and create an atmosphere within your own mind, your own body, and your own home where the peace of God is there and you're able to sit in the presence of God in your temple, in your holy place. So I do want you to understand that you should be studying at this time history. You should be looking at things and examining and asking questions. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Learn to study. It's those that study to show themselves approved unto God. Come on, those that study, not those that just quote a scripture and keep running. But deep down inside, you're afraid. Deep down inside, you're worried. Deep down inside, there is fear. Listen, we're free. For whom the Son has set free is free. And you're not free just because the Son died for you. You have to receive the freedom. And now is the time to stand up within yourself and receive the Son on the inside of you, that your entire body becomes a living temple. So everything that might be in the way, every form of doubt, every form of issue that you might have with the pastor, or issue you have with the church, or issue, come on, the real church is spirit. It's a spirit. It's not a building. It's spirit. So that's the kingdom. So join forces. Tap into the all-knowing God. The God that is tapped into every single person across the globe. The God that is able to understand what is in the minds of every single person. Tap into that God and gain wisdom. Listen, study, seek for the wisdom. If you run across something, share it. All I'm doing is sharing with you. I believe there are multiple agendas, as I've said, and they are using this to wreak havoc and war And maybe the numbers are as high as they say, maybe they're not. That's not for me to debate. What I do know is in the midst of all of this, they're realigning the systems of the world, the financial system, the healthcare system, the investment system. All the systems are being recalibrated. All the systems are being torn down and restructured, and they'll be backed by different things and different people, and other people will be in the pockets of other people, and other people will lose some authority and position so that other people can take over. Listen, it's a lot of stuff going on. At the end of the day, we are not to be afraid. We are to be wise. The spirit, kingdom, family, we have to be wise, and we have to open ourselves up and not be so church, quote unquote, minded that we are not understanding what is taking place, so that we can seek for the wisdom and the strategy, so that when this is over, because it is over, it has a limited cycle. As I said the other day, quarantine means 40 days. And in your word, there was 40 days they went about around and around in the wilderness. We are in the year double 40, 2020. We're in a quarantine, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. What is it that your body needs? What is it that your family needs? What is it that your community needs that you possess? What is it that you were assigned to give, and for whatever reason you did not have time, you were not motivated, you did not have the passion for it? What is that you possess, that God gave you, that wonderful gift, that wonderful ability, that talent, that uniqueness that you have not shared with the community? What is it? Tap into your earthly treasure. Tap into your treasure and use this time to come out victorious. You are already victorious, but use the time so that the things that you were thinking about, that you thought held you captive, the fields have been leveled. Now what's the excuse? If everybody has been put under the same quarantine, white, black, purple, brown, green, orange, everybody except for a few. And that few are those that have always been in control. That's the false God system. Tap into the all-knowing system. And you can only do that on the inside. You can't look at everything outside of you and make a determination. You have to hear all of that, not make judgment. And then you have to sit in the presence of God in the quietness. You say, I see this. I see. What are you saying? I share this a lot. My most deepest prayer words are, show me. What is my next move? What is your next move, God, through me? Show me. And I will keep coming to sit in your presence until you show me. I will sit here patiently waiting for you to uncover, to unfold, to reveal what's already been in plain sight. Show me. Show me me. Show me me with you. Show me me with you using me in the capacity that you created me for. Show me. So as you move about this week, take this word with you, chew on it, meditate on it. I think I've shared a number of things that if you go back and you put together everything that I've shared from the beginning of this situation to now, there's a lot in there. And if I was to never say anything else, I have said everything. Show me. Please know that I love you. Please know that my heart is for creation. Please know that my concern is about everyone's welfare, not me making it through, but everyone making it through. I've had many dreams, much like many of you, that warned us. The prayer team has been praying about something coming across the water and the borders and our safety, and there would be a war and all of these things since 2015. We have been documenting it in our journals. But so what? So what? It's about what we're doing now. It's about what we do with what God gives us. It's about using this time now. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? I know what I'm going to do. And I hope that you find your direction. And I hope that you find your place in this season. This is Apostle Francina, servant, daughter, mother, sister, auntie, best friend, lover, transformational leader, life coach, champion, wishing that you tap in to your next. God bless you. God bless you.